Welcome to another episode of Entrepreneurial Athlete Podcast. This is a show where former and current athletes learn how to dominate the dominate the business just like they did in their sport. And I am your host, I'm Phylesha, and I'm a former Division I basketball player turned business owners where I specialize in helping other business owners save time and increase with tailored marketing systems. I'm gonna get that intro down one of these days. You're gonna see me if you're on YouTube watching. I'm looking down because I have not memorized it yet, but I'm gonna get there. But today's guest, y'all, we do have another former hooper in the building. Stetson, it's a pleasure to meet you, have you on this podcast, and I'm excited to learn more about your story today.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me onto your podcast.
Yeah, no problem. And I always start off the episode with a question. And so when you think back to your time as being a hooper, your time as being an athlete, what's one lesson or mindset shift from when you play basketball that you still apply in your business today, being a content creator?
So I think the biggest thing is the process. Learning to enjoy the process. And how that relates back to basketball is just that everyday grind, getting up early, 5 in the morning. Um, just a rigorous schedule of how it all was, grinding workouts, weights, class, come get out of class, go to practice, go to film, you know, just those long days, just that process, um, learning to, you're building towards something. And so I feel like learning to stick to the process and enjoy the process. I feel like that's the biggest thing, just being disciplined with that. Is what I brought, just to my journey with content creating.
100%. You said a couple of good things there with one, enjoying the process, right? I think myself included, get so caught up in the end goal, the end result, where it's like whatever your end result is, it could be a big house, it could be the cars, it could be freedom, whatever it is. And we just get so fixated in that. And then when we go through the process, right? Because it's not easy, it's not an overnight type of success. It doesn't happen that way, even though social media makes it seem like it is.
Right.
It just makes that journey 10 times harder because it's just like you're going to go through the ebbs and flows. You're going to go through days where it's just like, I don't, you question yourself. I don't know what I'm doing or anything like that. So you brought up a good point there. And so we're going to get into that. But I want to take it back, right? Because I want to know a little bit more about Stetson, where it all started. So take us back to when you first started playing your sports, right? It doesn't have to be basketball, but like when did you start playing?
I started playing sports, man, back what I don't when I was 3 or 4. I don't really know how I started playing. I guess well, I have an older brother. He's right at 5 years older than me, and so I don't know if I was around him and his friends, and and just happened to pick up a ball or whatever. But that's where it started. I do remember one particular moment. Is my best friend to this day. I was around 4 or 5 years old, and I do remember walking with my oldest brother. We stayed in a small community, and so I do remember walking with my brother up the street, and there was a bunch of guys playing basketball. And at the time, my best friend at the time, he was over there, and I think either I wanted to go play with him or he wanted me to come play with him because he was outside playing basketball. And so that's one moment I do remember at that age, me playing ball just in the community, and with that's where it started with basketball. Um, and I also liked the football, and I think that was just my favorite sport, just growing up watching Michael Vick. So I thought I was a Michael Vick type of player back in the day, but that's kind of where, just getting into sports. That's kind of where it all started that I can remember.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you were a quarterback, I assume.
In Pee
Quarter.
Wee, Pee Wee.
Okay, okay, Pee Wee quarterback. Okay, and then what? Hey, just real quick, I know you're watching the episode, but I wanted to talk to you a little bit. I got to put you on game to something that is going to be huge for former athletes stepping into entrepreneurship. If you're a former athlete, you're looking to build or scale your business, you need to be in my school community. And I promise you, it's not going to be just some regular online group, but it's literally a network of all of us, former athletes who get what it's like transitioning from sports into business. And what that group is going to be called Entrepreneurial Athlete. And I promise we know, right? We know what it's like in sports, right? You have teammates and you can level up together. And that's exactly what this community is going to be about. And so inside, you'll find some great stuff, networking opportunities with other athletes. You get expert insights, not only from myself, but from the great podcast guests that you are watching. You also get collaboration opportunities. It could be for building your brand or even getting some type of referrals or anything like that to grow your business. And then also exclusive events and trainings, not just virtual, but also in person as well. So check me out. Check out the link of the community. You do not want to miss it. It's going to be down in the description below. Um, what position were you playing basketball?
Basketball, pretty much everything at the time, because like I said, I was from a small town, so and I was pretty much taller than everybody, you know,
Okay.
there. So I just basically did everything pretty much. I always had a high motor, so to speak. Um, I just pretty much did it all. Like it took a lot to make me tired, and so I played pretty much every position.
Oh, when you said that it takes a lot to get you tired, it reminded me of just those players that just run everywhere, right? Like I hated guard. I don't know about you, but I
Yeah.
hated guarding those types of players because my conditioning was never the greatest, even though I was decent, right, in basketball, but conditioning wasn't always my strong suit. And I just hated guarding the player that just, the hustler, like just like go from one end to the other end. And it's just like, I'm trying to box you out, but you running in circles. So anyway, that just came to my mind. But I like that. So you play sports when you were just a little bitty thing. And so you just kept playing basketball for a while. Like that was just you just kept playing the sport.
Yeah, I just kept playing. Back then it was boys club basketball. So every year I was in that. I think I think it was maybe either my third or fourth grade year. Um, it was a coach that reached out that was starting a new AAU program in the area, and I played maybe 2 summers with them in AAU. And then it came to a point where I had to, I had my parents made me choose that what I can either play boys club or play AAU basketball. So I had to choose one, and I think I ended up choosing boys club and stopped playing AAU. And up until about I think after my fourth grade year, I think fifth grade year of Pee Wee football was about to start, and I had broke both of my wrists during the summer, and the year started, and we were playing, and I ended up re-injuring that wrist in one of the games, and I just called it quits after that, and I said I'm just done with it. Um, and so I just stuck with basketball from only basketball from then on, up to college or whatever, and yeah, that's how that's where it where it led me.
Wow. I personally have never, well, I'm not gonna say I've never broken a bone, but I've definitely dealt with injuries. And so when you broke, first of all, breaking both of your wrists,
Well, let me
wow.
say this. I don't think it officially broke. I know I sprung both of them. I was in two brace at the same time.
Goodness gracious. Oh my goodness. And you were young. I can't even imagine that. Oh man. And so when you had to pick, right? When you picked basketball, was it a hard decision or it was just like let's just go with basketball? And why did you pick basketball?
I don't think it was a hard decision. Me looking back on it, I think I was just making a sorry excuse. I don't know what I was battling at the time that made me just quit football because um like I still sometimes, I know you don't supposed to have regrets, but I mean, just face it, I do. I regret not continuing to play football because, like I
Hmm.
say, football is my
Yeah.
sport. I like football. So at the time, I don't know what it was. Why I just quit it, and it wasn't like a thing. Like I just chose basketball. I don't know what it was. I
Okay.
don't know if I don't know. I don't know what it was. But I just
Yeah.
chose basketball. And I mean, it wasn't a hard decision.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I was in a crossroads like that. I mean, it wasn't like a tough decision. My mom said, so I was raised by a single mother,
Mhm.
and and me, I was naturally pretty good in sports. Anything with a ball. So, whatever it was, if you put a ball in my hand, I was pretty decent. And so I played soccer and basketball. Those were two of my sports. And I remember my mom having a conversation with me, like, girl, obviously she ain't say it like that, but like, girl, you gotta pick a
Yeah.
sport because it was a lot. I can't even imagine on her. Like she's taking me to all these different sports and mind you, I was very competitive. So I'm playing competitive basketball and competitive soccer. So yeah, I was in a crossroads where I had to pick the sport. And I don't know what made me, probably my mind, knowing what I know now, I probably was thinking like soccer, they run too much. So I'm gonna pick basketball because it's short sprints, soccer, I knew you gotta
Yeah.
run a lot. But anyways, so yeah, I have a similar, story when it comes to picking the sport, but I don't like soccer though. Not like that, like you
Yeah.
have, like you love
Yeah.
football.
You
But
saying you saying that I think I was making an excuse at the time. I was making an excuse at the time about my wrist, but I think I was really being lazy and not want to practice in the summer heat.
that ain't no
Summer heat.
joke. That is no joke.
And I was just making a sorry excuse about it. It shouldn't even came to that.
But we kids, right? Like
Right.
you just pick what you know in the moment, right? Like
Uh,
anyway, we'll talk about my kids, but like I know you have some of your own too, but kids' minds are just so remarkable and funny. They're funny, funny people. But anyways, so let's fast forward, right? Like now you're in high school. Like, when did you know you were decent? Like you were like you could play college ball. When did you know you were playing or you were capable of playing at that caliber?
let's see. Well, like you did, like you said, you had just whenever you had a touch the ball, you just had natural talent in it. Um, I feel like I don't know if it was just because of the small town but I just feel like I had some natural abilities, some advantages or whatever, and I think it was my eighth grade year, I believe. I had some coaches from I don't know if you're familiar with Little Rock, Arkansas.
I've heard of it a little bit, but I'm not too familiar.
Okay, so where I'm originally from, when you speak Little Rock, that's like the big city.
Hmm.
But probably to somebody that's out of Arkansas, Little Rock would probably be a small city. But that's big to us coming from where I'm from. And so I had some coaches reach out to me from up here about playing AU ball, and they came and watched me and stuff, and then they invited me to tryouts. And you know, long story short, I tried out and I made it. And it opened up my eyes when I got a chance to play on that level. It opened up my eyes to, what's possible. Like, it's a lot, a lot of exposure, being on that type of level and playing on that type of league because we were sponsored by Nike. The team was sponsored by Nike, and so being around that, like I say, it opened up my eyes and to like something that's bigger, and that's when I started to realize like, oh, like I can do this. I can use basketball to get a scholarship or go to the next level. And at the time, growing up, you have dreams to going pro type stuff, and that's where it started for me realizing like that I can play at a college or higher is during that eighth grade year when I got that that invite to come try out. So that's where it started.
I love that. And so now, right, you got that exposure. And so now you're like, wow, okay, I see the possibilities of going to college, playing pro. And so as you are in high school, when you were you getting, well, you said you were getting offers, right, in high school. And so what was your thought process, or take us through that journey of like when you signed, and like how did that make you feel once you have signed to play at the next level in college?
So that journey, just going through the AAU, because most of my exposure, well, I'm pretty much say all of my exposure came from AAU.
Mhm.
Um, when I was playing with that team, and I was able, to get coaches to come to where I was in high school. But that journey, getting that exposure through the AAU circuit, uh, it's what can I say? It was up and it was down.
Mhm.
Like during I think my highest moments with getting offers and a lot of coaches talking to me, it was probably during the the ninth after the ninth grade, that summer, and then the 10th grade summer. I think those were my two, highest moments with dealing with coaches and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And going into my last season of AAU basketball, which is after the 11th grade, there were some changes being made, and I had some knee problems going on, and so I had a lot of people talking with me, and some major D1 schools they hadn't quite offered me yet. They was waiting on me to see how I performed during the 11th grade, that 11th grade summer to pull, to give an offer.
Yeah.
And so I was dealing with some knee injuries and stuff like that, and I wasn't able to play to my high
Mm,
ability.
yeah.
Um, I was letting it phase me, and so I wasn't performing like I had been in the past, and so some of those offers, some of those teams they never offered, and then some they took theirs back. And so like I said, that's why I say the up is up and down. And but coming to the final, when I was actually signed, I had when it came down to it, it was I think I had three or four who I was planning to to sign. It was I think Oral Roberts, it was UA Little Rock who I actually went to, Murray State, and it was one more. I forget who that was. And so I was planning to go to a visit to
Mhm.
Murray State and Oral Roberts, and before I could, they both they both um reached out and said that because they only had one scholarship, to be able to offer, they only had
Mhm.
one available, and before I could get to them, they both had already had someone to commit before I did, and
Mm.
so that just went out the door, and so I only had one left, and that was with UA Little Rock, and basically it was the same thing, and they were wanting me real bad, and so they reached out to me, and just trying to see where I was at and stuff like that. And because I had went on a visit, and I ended up choosing them. I think it was out of I'm be honest, I think it was out of fear
Mm-hmm.
of what it came down to, and just fear the unknown of like the future, like would I get something else? Because at this point I'm going this is I'm in my senior year, like no more AAU or anything like that. And so I'm just like just I don't know. It just
Yeah.
I ended up taking that offer, and to make me feel secure, so to speak. Um, um, but maybe it was God's design. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So everything happened for a reason, and so that's how I ended up making that decision to go to UALR.
And honestly, I don't think that's talked about enough, right? Like going from like just your, I'll say between like your sophomore and your senior year, right? Like having that type of pressure where you don't know exactly, like it could be a little bit of two things where it's like you might have some interest, but and you don't like know at the same time, like obviously you want to play in college, but like you don't want to make a too quick of a decision.
Right.
But then you don't want to wait too late, obviously, because they're giving these scholarships away to other people too.
Yeah.
And it is just it's so hard. It really is, because it's like for me, I'll speak on my experience. I committed when I was a sophomore. So I knew from sophomore where I wanted to go, but I think that I committed too early,
Mhm.
right? In hindsight, I did not even give any other college a real chance,
Yeah.
right? And it was like you, whereas like I kind of had a couple of factors, but at the same time, it was like that stability. Like I know exactly where I'm going. I can like coast, which that was terrible
Right.
because I committed so early. I don't think I went as hard
Yeah.
my junior senior year as hard as I could,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I got comfortable.
Yeah.
And of course that led to just some other things in college. I didn't play to my best ability in college just because I was so comfortable.
Right. Right.
Um, so but your feelings are so valid, so valid. I mean, yeah, I think that definitely needs to be talked about a lot of more so about like just making sure that you take that time, obviously, to really decide where you want to go. Because I mean, not I know it's easy, it's different now. I don't know, like the transfer rules now, like it was not as easy as it is now.
It wasn't. Well, you had to, if you wanted to transfer, you had to go through a bunch of hoops, and then you had to sit out a year, this and that. Nah, it's definitely different. It's definitely
What's
different.
going on now? These kids are like transferring and you're like playing like right away. And then I don't know if you heard like I just saw an article or something about JUCO, where like typically when I was playing, if you go to JUCO for 2 years, you only have 2 more years of eligibility, right?
Right.
Now you could go to JUCO and you still have 4 more years of eligibility if you
Really?
go. Yeah, I'm like, this is crazy.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I read an article the other day. Look, I can't tell you who the source was, but I can't remember. But like I thought that was crazy. Like
Yeah.
these kids could play in college for like 6 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
But
yeah, crazy. But yeah. So now,
going back to what you
yeah.
said, signing, you don't know if you want to, signing early. And so
Mhm.
like I signed early, and it's crazy because after I signed, this was during football season. I signed the early signing period, and basketball season started, and we got invited to a tournament in Mississippi, in Mississippi State, and so we were down there playing, and I did my thing, I did, and so the coaches at Mississippi State was asking my high school coaches, you know, basically they was wanting to offer me from me playing at that tournament. And at this point, I had signed. So it's like, dang, you know what I'm saying? There's just that unknown. I didn't know.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yep.
man, I'm in
Yeah.
a different state. Come on.
I know, right? And I feel like back then, I think, at least from what I heard, like, did you physically sign or did you just give a verbal commit?
I had physically
Oh,
signed. Yeah, so
okay.
I was like,
Yeah. Yeah, because I think when you physically sign, they have to, like back then, I think they have to release you as well. So you have to go through hoops, like you said, like you got
yeah,
to jump through hoops to do all that.
it probably, I don't know. I don't think it would have been. I don't know. I don't know if it'll be worth it or not.
Yeah.
But
Well, now, okay, so now you're in college, right? You're playing. And so how was that experience for you? I mean, like you kind of mentioned it a little bit, right? With the rigorous schedule. I mean, waking up at 5 in the morning, like how was that adjustment for you?
so I was always a morning person, so I feel like that part didn't never bother me. My dad, he never let us sleep in. He getting us up. He don't care if it is summer break. He getting us up, get out the house. But the difference, I think, my mindset going into college, I knew that you supposed to work extra. Like I put in extra work in high school. But my mindset going in it, I'm thinking, you know, the extra work that I do with the coaches, the one-on-ones with the coaches, like that's the extra work. And then, and that's not including practice.
Mhm.
And so my mindset going in, that's what I was doing. And so uh, I feel like, looking back, I didn't give myself a decent enough chance because I wasn't separating myself. Like
Mm.
the extra that I was doing with the coaches, like that wasn't enough. And so I wasn't able to actually, I was getting better, but I was getting better. Like I was doing the same thing that the rest of the players were doing. And I wasn't able to put in my own work and just develop my own skills, by myself. And so I feel like I really wasn't, um, like I said, my mindset going in, I wasn't putting in the extra work that I should have been putting in
Mhm.
to make myself better or to separate myself. I thought what we were doing, just being a part of the team, like that was enough. Um, and that was different. And then just the long days, it's tough. That part of it is tough, and it's 5 6 days a week. I feel like those are the biggest things that that hit you, and it's hard. It's hard. It's hard, and then like I say, you're not necessarily the man like you once were at your high school, and so you're having to adjust. It's that adjustment to this level. It's a big adjustment. Um, so and like I say, I think the biggest thing is just it's more mental more than physical to me
Mhm.
when you go to that level. Um, because it's just your mind just not used to what's going on, and it's just so much. And I feel like that was the biggest adjustment for me going in.
Did when you think back, did you ever have any like talks from coaches or anything or anybody to prepare you for the next level?
Not like that, not like that. It's always the normal talk of you got to work hard. You got to work hard. Like working hard, they can mean a lot of things. Like how do I need to work hard? Like in what areas do I need to work hard in? You know what I'm saying? It ain't,
Yep. Yep.
it's that phrase right there. It's just threw around like. Okay, I get it. I work hard. Like going at a fast pace. What does that mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have it. It's just you just gotta work hard type stuff.
Yep.
And that's I don't know.
No, I agree. I think I mean the big reason why I went to Syracuse was because of he was a coach that coached me when I was like in middle school. He ended up being a coach at Syracuse. So that was like one of the big things and big reasons. And he used to coach at other colleges in between the time. And so he would always give me like advice, right? Like you need to do like at this level, you got to step it up, right?
Right.
Well, I think from sophomore year though, I feel like I feel like in hindsight, if I prepared myself, if I did the extra work, right? Actually did the extra workouts like outside of practice, did more extra conditioning, that would have at least prepared me a little bit more. I still would have been shocked, right? Because of the rigorous scheduling and the time management, all the things you have to deal with playing at that level. But
Mhm.
I would have been at least a little bit more prepared at for that as far as because when you get that to that next level, like you said, like okay, yeah, I know I have to work hard, but like everything is hard already. So like I feel like I'm working hard.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I feel like if you had like examples of like, okay, you got a 5 a.m. practice, you got class, but here's like an hour that you can either just chill or like you have the option of getting 100 reps in.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that if that was like explained to me, I would have understood it a little bit better.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think God puts us in situations um for us to either learn from it, right? Or to well, it's always going to be a lesson in it. So to learn from it and grow.
Right.
And so mine, for me, my thing was I needed to grow from like mentally because I was such a victim. It was everybody's fault why I didn't play.
Mhm.
I surrounded myself with people that thought the same exact thing, and it was just such a negative experience my last couple of years just because of that mindset. And
Yeah.
so but you gotta I've definitely have learned from it, right, where nobody is going to be in control. At least I'm not going to allow anyone to basically stop me from where I'm going, right? Obviously I'm a believer God is going to provide and
Yeah.
where and show me where I need to go, but at the same time nobody on like no man is going to stop me from where I want to go.
Yeah.
So I had to go through the period in basketball um to get the mindset that I have now. So kind of going back to you, Stetson, like now that you said that like that college years you had to learn a lot, you grew up, kind of had to learn some lessons, and so now I know that you said that you wanted to play pro. How did that like transition, like now you got another big lesson, another big transition, excuse me, where it's like now it's after college. What did that look like for you?
Just at a crossroad, not knowing what to do. Uh, yeah. Let me see. At this point, at this point with basketball, like I say, I was just going through, the first couple years. I think done it for me. Um, really just killed that. It killed that drive or no, it didn't kill my drive because I got up every day. I think it killed the passion for playing or the enjoyment. It killed the enjoyment
Yeah.
playing, especially on that level. Um, and so I still had moments where I find it in me to want to drink, try to dream again. You know, but one thing about me, even though when I was going through my moments in college where, I was battling with it and couldn't figure it out, like I'm thankful to my dad. He always instilled that hard work to, just putting in the effort, showing up every day, like not quitting. You gotta finish. I'm thankful that he instilled that in me because every day, I showed up with a good attitude. And to be honest, I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like my character and the way I carried myself, I feel like that's what kept me on that team because on this level it's all about stats.
Hmm.
Like, are you producing?
Yep.
The plus or minuses. And if it ain't adding up, you're the bench or you gone.
Yep.
So if anybody can look at my stats. They can go to the stat sheet and see that my stats don't add up for me to be on this team for as long as I've been on this team. But I go back and credit myself to the character that had been instilled in me over time. Like I say, me battling the mental part of the game and the mental part of just every day in that life. Still, that's just maybe that's the God in me. I didn't understand it at the time, but I still showed up every day, with a good attitude. I wasn't being a counselor to the team, saying that they did this to me or whatever, or just being that the counselor to the team. And I feel like like I say, my character, kept me in it for as long as I did. And we had some changes, um, and I don't know if you're familiar with Chris Beard. Uh,
Mm-mm.
okay, but some coaches changed. He came in, and a lot of coaches change. They want to, take you through, make sure they, see who they want to keep and stuff like that.
Yep.
So that's why I was just talking about me having that spark to dream again about going something, going playing pro. When they came in, it's like I got a second chance, so to speak. And so when they came in, like the passion was coming back. I was like fired up. I wasn't mentally uh, gone, and and at this point, I know like I'm the extra work I supposed to be putting in, and so I'm doing all of that, and and it still comes down to for some reason, when season start, I'm still not performing the way that I should. I'm showing up every day at practice, like I'm there, like doing it, like because they're still calling me to get in the game. If I'm not showing up in practice, I ain't gonna get. They're not gonna put you in the game.
Yep.
So I'm still getting my opportunities, but for some reason, when I get in the game, I'm not performing like I should. And so that's another thing that it'll drive you down mentally because you want to do so good. You want to
Yep.
do good. You know what I'm
Kill your
saying?
confidence. It'll kill
But
your
it just kill your confidence. And I feel like during that season with those coaches, like that's what killed my confidence. It's just like what am I doing? Why can't I perform? You know what I'm saying? And so just leading up, my last year, I'm at this point like I'm just done. Like I don't have the stats to go play overseas somewhere that's that can pay me decent. I don't want to go overseas and just be staying anywhere and trying to get paid little to nothing. And I don't have the passion for the game to play at a competitive level like that. I wasn't at the point in my head to want to go grind it out somewhere. And at this point, I had already proposed to my now wife, and all this is going in my head like you know what's going what are we gonna do, like if I go over here this and that, you
confidence.
know like what is it for our future and stuff, like all of this stuff playing in my head. I'm just at a crossroads of like what now, like after the conference tournament in March, like we lost. I'm on a ride back on the bus, like what am I to do,
Mm.
what am I to do, and I just didn't know. And thankfully, my dad, he made us work. And so I knew I had that to fall back on just to at least get up and go to work. You know what I'm saying? Not just sit around or, go in the streets or anything like that. He always instilled to work. You gotta work. And so I feel like that's what I had to fall back on to at least keep me going and keep my head afloat as far as, providing for, my wife and us. And and at this point I'm just going day by day, like through the motions, like just working and just living, not really knowing who I am. And like, because like when basketball was over with, it's like I was over with because basketball was my identity. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Yep.
Like that's all I know for what, for what, 20, 20, 20 years,
20 plus years.
15, 20
Yeah.
years, whatever. That's all I know. So like, who am I? You know what I'm saying? And so I was just at that crossroad, and like I say, thankfully I had that work ethic to fall back on, because a lot of guys, just in the sports industry, a lot of them from the streets, just they where they come from, and some of them, that's what they know to go back to, and end up getting into trouble or getting a life taken from them.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful that I didn't do that, and so yeah, it's just that crossroad coming from college to real life. I call it adulting. But but yeah,
Absolutely.
that's where I was leaving college, just lost. Just I think maybe, I probably had moments of depression. Uh I think denial.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I didn't want to watch no basketball, I was
Yeah.
like just done. Like,
Yeah.
um I don't know. I don't know. I was just at that crossroads. It's just like I don't know who I didn't know who I was. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it was just necessarily a bad thing. I don't know.
Yeah. How long do you think that, because I was there too. How long do you think you were in that place of like just trying to find yourself again?
Up until what's this? What's this 25? Just last year. Well, let's see, 24. Maybe the start of 2023 or towards the end of 2023. I started trying to like understand like who am I?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 2023, I believe, and I just went on this journey and just I had tried some things and trying to do a lot of things my way. Um, I hadn't like left stopped believing or anything like that. I just started trying to do things my way and trying to figure it out for myself. You know, and I had got into some risky situations financially and stuff like that. Um, and eventually I just said, I can't do it. Like I need help, and only God can help me. And I just went on this journey to, just trying to understand, myself and trying to get closer to God and trying to get that relationship to start hearing from Him and see like what He want with with my life. Like, why am I here? Like, I think it's one of the biggest questions. Like, a lot of people, pretty much everybody, like, what am I here for? Why am I
Yep.
living? I'm saying, just want to know their purpose. And I feel like I got on that journey trying to understand my purpose, and I feel like I just probably took me like diligently seeking 2 years or so. Just last year I slowly started to understand, uh to get understanding of who I am, and not trying to compare myself to nobody else, or even try to live according to somebody else's opinion of what they think I should be. And last year I started to understand, who I was, and it slowly started coming to me, and I'm still learning, but I know I am more confident now in who I am now than I ever have been in the past. And and it feel good. It
Yeah.
feel good. You know that you know where you're headed now.
Hmm.
Like I say, it's still a journey, it's still a process. And but I know who I am now and where I'm going. And I feel like that brings me a lot of joy, a lot of peace that I didn't have,
For sure.
you know, leaving college. And I don't know, it's just I just get like I tell my wife, I just sometimes I just be overjoyed, just feel good sometimes just out of the blue, like I don't know, I just feel good, you know what I'm saying? And that's the reason because like I understand a lot better who I am. And that makes a whole lot different. I understand like, you know, what I'm doing this for, what I'm doing this life for. And it makes things a lot better. Like I say, you just get the peace that you just can't understand like where it come from.
I'm telling you, when God steps into your life, when you actually get to a point of surrendering yourself to His plan, I mean, it is so much sweeter. I'm not saying it's easier, but it's sweeter because you are not living only for yourself. Right now, you are being obedient to His plan. You're walking more into your purpose. I mean, having that, knowing that, where it's like where you're going, in a sense of like you're walking into your purpose. I mean, when I tell you that, just brings, like you said, it just brings so much peace to your life. Because I know for me personally, like you said, everybody kind of always asks themselves at some point, what am I here on this earth for? Why am I here? And I would always ask myself that question. I would pray to God, if you please just show me what is my purpose? Why am I here? What am I supposed to do? And the minute that you are open, the minute that you surrender yourself and He shows you, it is just like I don't even know how to explain it or articulate it, but it is just like a freeing moment. It's just like, and it's not like a oh type of thing. I'm not saying that, but like as you start to walk more into it, it's just a kind of like a load off of you. It's like you just become like more brand new in a sense. So I 100% agree with what you're saying. And so, did you know though that content creation was a part of that plan, or like how do you even stumble upon? I mean, how did you even get into that?
No, it wasn't. Well, no, it wasn't a part of the plan I thought because I laugh because if anybody who know me, like I was never the type to be on social media, um, let alone post a video me talking or anything like that.
Mhm.
I wouldn't even like very seldom would I write a post.
Mhm.
So no, content creation was not like I did not think this was in the plan. But here we are.
Yeah. So like take me back to like your first post, right? You're not that type of person. So what made you jump into it?
So I did know this is a little bit, after college, maybe a year or so after college. I started dibbling and dabbling and trying to learn some things. And I did know that I wanted to have an online business. And so, like I said, dibbling and dabbling and stuff. And um, I took a few courses and stuff, and I learned. But I took this one particular course, and it was talking about basically in the how to make money online type stuff.
Mhm.
Like I say, I was very ignorant to the online space of how to, have a business online, and so I was taking stuff trying to learn.
Mhm.
So this one particular course, um, during the process, it was a challenge that went on, and they had a student in there given the challenge. It was like a 5-day challenge, And on the first day, the challenge was to make a video post. I forgot what it was about, but it was about basically making a video post. And I'm like, no way, no way, no way. And so, and so I ended up creating the video, shooting the video, and when it came time for me to post it on the channel on that first day, I think it took me at least 30 minutes or so to press post, like pacing across the house. My wife she was like, post the video. She was like, do you want me to slap you to just post the video? And I was like, oh, it's just that like cringe is just out the comfort zone. Like I don't post anything, like, and I'm gonna pop up like this. But that was my first video making that post. And it was like I said, it was in like a how to make money online niche, something that's I don't even.
Yeah.
But anyway, I went through a cycle of um doing that for maybe it may been almost a year when I was posting little stuff about that.
Yeah.
Really and truly, I feel like it was just a stage in my life that God was really allowing me to be in to develop, some skills to, shoot the content or learning how to show up online and getting familiar with how the online, social media and stuff work. I
Yeah.
feel like because I had to do a lot of research just watching, how videos are done and seeing, the people who have success and learning like what's making their videos and stuff go, have success and what are people liking type stuff. And so
Right.
I feel like when I was doing that, I feel like it prepared me for what I'm doing now. Like I said, doing that when I was doing those videos, I felt like it really wasn't me. Um, I feel like it really wasn't me what I was doing, and like I said, I eventually got out of it and started doing content with my wife, and um, and now I'm doing content, uh, basically creating my own personal brand, doing the content that I do now. But yeah, that's how I got started with like being online.
So for the people that don't know, like more about like what you do as far as what your personal brand is, what is your personal brand right now online?
So basically, I create like daily routine, so to speak, like day in the life type videos, content videos, um, lifestyle, just faith, marriage, um, being a father, and just showcasing my lifestyle, just enjoying life, um, and it's it ain't necessarily I don't necessarily be on there wanting to preach. I want to just show what I do on a daily, like to inspire people, um, just to be better, husbands, be better fathers, or to you know dive into your word, reading the Bible. Like I just want to showcase what I do on a daily. Hopefully it can inspire somebody. Me, having a job and still putting in time with with your family. Not making that excuse of being tired and neglecting your family. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So I just want to showcase what I do on the daily. And to be honest, I thought um, whenever I was posting this stuff because before I started posting day in the life content, like I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be, stay private. But I had some people in my surroundings who was telling me like, because I was wanting to do videos that like the viral videos, like humorous type stuff or stuff that they just get a lot of views and I was also going by wanting the money, but it was just came to a time to where like I started feeling like something's missing, like I'm not being fulfilled, like it's more life than just this type of videos for me. And so People just tell me, just show up like as you are, who you are, naturally. And I'm like, what is that? What does light look like? And my wife was telling me all the time, like, just show what you do on a daily. And I never could wrap my mind around doing that because I'm like, that's not the grand, that's not the viral stuff. You know,
Yeah.
like that's boring. And so, and I would pop up with a video or two of what I was doing here and there, but I never was consistent with it. And then, I eventually, was getting inspiration from other creators, just learning how to capture certain moments and learning how they was telling their story, as the video going along. And I eventually it hit me, and I eventually figured out how I was gonna do it, and so I started doing it. And I this one video, particularly on Facebook, took off. It was something that I do on a daily, or something that I would do on a daily. Me coming home from work late and just showcasing what I was doing, helping my wife and stuff like that around the house. And you had people in the comments like, um, some of these men need to take notes type stuff, whatever. When they get in the comments, the video pops off,
Yeah.
and so um, and so on this particular Friday, I had like maybe 400 followers on Facebook. After that weekend was over, I had like 11,000 followers. So I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? People really do be liking this type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So like I had to tell my wife, like I had to go ask God for forgiveness, because like my life is not my own, like it's His life. You know what I'm saying? He created me, so I'm saying that my life is nothing, but really, I mean, somebody think it's something.
Mm.
I got these people following me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay. So it opened up my eyes, like, okay, these people like this. And not only that, like people are reaching out to me, like telling me to keep going. Like you don't realize that you're inspiring people. Like, they saying I'm inspiring them, to be better in whatever
Right.
it looks like for them. And it's like just coming back to me like, okay, this is bigger than me. You know what I'm saying? And where I am, like, it's helping somebody. And like I'm being fulfilled by it. Like I feel like I'm right where I'm supposed to be. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good feeling. Yeah.
So so yeah, it's man, it's sometimes it's mind boggling. Like I'm just doing stuff that I thought, everybody do. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know. It's like wow to me. Wow, just my daily life. But I'm very, very appreciative and I'm thankful. You know what I'm saying? That people are liking what I'm putting out there. Um, like sometimes it's different than how a lot of people show up online. It's positive. It's relatable, and so I'm very appreciative.
That's-
Um,
you talking and it made me think about when you said you at first wanted to go do the viral videos, whatever those are, and then you ended up even going viral, but
I know,
the way
right?
that the way that God wanted you to go
Right,
viral.
right, right. That's why I said I had to go back and ask God for forgiveness, cause like you know what I'm saying. Like he can make me victorious how he
Yes,
wants. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the
absolutely.
part, you have to surrender and submit to him and let him use you. And
Yep.
you have that peace, you have that fulfillment that you've been looking for.
100%. And I wanted to make sure I say this because before I forget, it also shows your wife too, because I want to make sure I give her flowers because her pushing you to say, listen, like just be yourself, right? Like that's enough. You don't have to pretend, right? You don't have to, act like, this person in order to go viral. And she was able to, of course God is there too, but also your wife was pushing you to be who you are meant to be. And so a credit to her, because I think that's powerful when you have a significant other that's in your corner, because we as a as you're building, when you are building something from scratch, you're going to be telling yourself all these negative thoughts sometimes, and it does not do you any good. But if you have someone in your corner, it could be a significant other, it could be a friend, it could be family members, but somebody in your corner that can uplift you during those times, because it's hard. It is really hard building something from scratch, but it's worth it.
It's definitely worth it.
So worth it.
Yeah, and I'm starting to see some. I'm starting to have some wins, and like I say, things are. God has really opened up some doors for me. He's definitely favoring me, and like I say, I'm grateful. I'm appreciative. Um, yeah. Like I say, I'm in the best mind frame that I've ever been in. Like, yeah.
I love that. Yeah, and and honestly, and I can't wait, and I'm watching, right? And I just met you and all the things, but I found you on a whim for one of your day in the life type of videos, and I was like, wow, I like what he's showing, and that was one of the things that drew me to your content, was that you are a hardworking man, you're a family man, you put your family first, and you're a God-fearing man, like all the things there, right? And so that is what was like, wow, this is good content, right? I have a husband, and he does the exact same thing for us as well. And so I was like, wow, we need more. And I'm going to get a little bit on my soapbox here, but we need more Black men, right? Showing that side of just like on content, right? Where it's like, wow, like, because I didn't grow up with my father in my home. And he was in the streets, he did drugs, and he's a different person now. He is sober. I mean, he's changed his life around. He's a God-fearing man now, but I just didn't. I had a. I was seeing. I seen a different side of him. So now, right now, I have my two girls, and I have my husband as well. Very active in our life, very loving husband, and it's good to see that on social media.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. So I do want to say, continue doing what you're doing, because he is going to open up more doors for you as long as you continue to be faithful and obedient to his plan. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah. So I want to make sure I give you your like some last minute thoughts on, like, for anybody that's listening that might be like struggling in any area. Do you have any tips, either being a content creator or just transitioning from their sport? Do you have any last minute tips?
Just life in general. Sports. Um, when when you come to this crossroad, we can take a lot from what we learn from sports and use it in real life. Just going back to like just when I was talking about the process, like life is nothing but a process, like a journey. And when you can extract the being disciplined with your sport, like coaches, they strict on being disciplined with the small things, you know, being disciplined and and being consistent, showing up every day, showing up every day, striving to get better every single day. Like you don't have to make these big jumps and be this great person today or tomorrow. Like it's a process, it's a journey. You gotta enjoy becoming the person that you want to become. Like that's if I can give somebody advice, that's what I can tell them. Like learn to enjoy the process, the learning, you gaining more knowledge, you applying that knowledge, you going to help somebody with the knowledge that you've learned. Like enjoy the process. Be patient. Be patient. Like give yourself grace. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Like your journey and somebody else's journey is different. Like you are where you at for a reason, and don't just let life happen to you. Like do something about your life. Like strive to become the best version of yourself. It takes effort. It's not gonna be easy. Like it takes effort, but you got to get up, show up every day, doing something that'll make you better every single day. Like it don't take a lot. Something better every day. And so that's what I could tell somebody.
Amen. That's some good advice right there. And so, if they want to follow you, where can they follow you? Are you on Instagram? Well, you are on Instagram, but Instagram, your YouTube, or anything like that?
Um, Facebook is my name, Stetson Billings. Instagram, it's Stet. To be honest, let me say, I don't even know my name on there though. it's um, it's Stetson B as in Valentine dot Billings on Instagram and Stet V Billings on TikTok. I'm on YouTube, but I haven't quite. I've uploaded some shorts over there, but I haven't quite started my YouTube like I want to. I want to get it. I want to go deeper, like with long form on YouTube, and so I will be starting it sometime this year. Just going deeper into like, um, just daily type stuff and being just giving more inspiration. They'll hear me talking a little more on there.
Yes. All right. Do it raw. Do it raw.
So, but yeah, that's where you can follow me at.
Okay. All right. I'll make sure to put all that in the description so people can easily access your pages and things. And so, all right, y'all. I'm about to close it out. I got to open up my tablet here to get what I'm gonna say. But no, I do want to say, Stetson, though, thank you again for being on this platform, for sharing your story, for trusting me with your story. And I can't wait to like just continue, see where you're gonna end up going. All these doors that God is opening for you. I can't wait to see it on Instagram. And so I want to say though, I lost my train of thought. Sorry. But anyways, thank you again for being on the platform. But for anyone that is listening though, if you got any type of value from this episode, please make sure to subscribe, share with another athlete turned entrepreneur, and comment down below, right? We want to make sure that you're hearing some things that you enjoy. I want to make sure I get some feedback how we can improve on this podcast platform. And so again, subscribe to this channel, and I appreciate y'all rocking with us. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next episode. Peace out.